Heaven's Journey to Life. Mind Aura Scans Evolution, Day 68. To read this post, it must be understood that we're walking this process and blog, Heaven's Journey to Life, multidimensionally, which means each post covers one dimension, but is interconnected into and as multi-dimensions in our process of walking the point in question of who I am and how this I created and manifested this entire physical existence. Thus suggested to read this blog from day one, as many of the points of previous dimensions and days and posts are always brought through into the next day's dimensions and posts, as all the dimensions interconnect as the multidimensionality we've created and manifested as our separation as energy and consciousness from and of life and equality and oneness. Thus, if one is faced with this post and have not yet read this blog from day one, suggests that self first start from day one, as otherwise one will have no context of many dimensions that is walked in this post that has been dealt with in detail in previous posts. As mentioned in the previous post, we're having a look at the nature of attraction, more specifically in how it now exists within and as the mind within the physical body, within and between two human beings, with attraction existent only between two unequal parts, beings and manifestations, that is attempting to and trying to equalize their mind and energy within themselves, and thus why and how relationships had become dependent on energy and experience, instead of actual, equal, and one living, of and as the growth, development, and expansion of two individuals walking, living, and expressing together, but that relationships had become an existence of competition between inferiority and superiority, where individuals, as the mind, is attempting to and trying to equalize the energies within and as their own minds. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to, from the beginning to now, inequality and oneness within as energy and substance, the mind and the physical, see, realize, and understand how, in the beginning, with the interaction between the two manifested singularities with the atom and male singularity patterned and manifested within and as the awareness of and as the friction and conflict action, power and strength, related to the power and amount of energy produced within the strength of the velocity of the friction and conflict and action, where the power and strength was in relation to the amount and velocity and speed of and as the friction and conflict action, of and as the atom and male singularities manifested awareness and existence that was more oriented into its atom and male existence, and the Eve and female singularity with its manifested awareness and existence being more oriented into its Eve and female existence as the circulation and distribution and continuity and movement of and as the energies of the negative, neutral, and positive would manifest the experience of and as fullness, flow, movement, grace, the very experience of the essence of energy itself. And thus the atom and male singularity would manifest as the very experience of the creation and design of energy itself. Thus, when looking at the experience dimension of the attraction between the Eve and female and atom and male singularities, the atom and male singularities was thus attracted to the accumulative essence of and as the energies of and as the negative to the neutral and the positive, and the Eve and female singularity attracted to the intensity, power, and strength resonant experience of and as the atom and male singularities. Neither seeing, realizing, and understanding that both can in fact manage to access and become the essence of energy and the creation and design of energy as an experience, with the atom and male singularity simply moving beyond its pattern and manifested awareness into and as its atom and male existence and accumulating its energies from the negative to the neutral and to the positive, and the Eve and female singularity moving its awareness into and as the action of the friction and conflict relationship to substance and existent within its atom and male existence. But because that separation was existent within both, within the atom and male singularity that patterned its awareness, beingness, and manifested singularity to only exist within and as its atom and male existence as friction and conflict, essentially manifested itself into an acceptance of this is who I am, and the allowance of this is who I will always be. The same with the Eve and female singularity that patterned its awareness, beingness, and manifested singularity to only exist within and as its Eve and female existence as the circulation, distribution, and movement of and as energies, manifesting itself into an acceptance of this is who I am, and the allowance of this is who I will always be. And so within this manifest decision made within the singularities themselves, this is what they became. In this, the nature of attraction within the context of experience thus manifested where the two singularities became aware of parts of themselves within each other that they had not seen, realized, or understood was existent within and as themselves already, because of the separation from themselves, and within that separation, the acceptance and allowance of who they are and will be. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to inequality and oneness, with and as substance and energy, the physical and the mind, from the beginning to now, seen, realized, and understood, the interaction between human beings within the nature of the experience dimension of and as attraction, where in the mind's relationship to the human physical body, within and as the immediate surrounding area of the human being, is manifested the aura and presence of and as the mind's existence within and as the physical body. That an aura and presence of energy and frequency and vibration of mind only exists within the physical body immediate environment because of our beingness separation from the physical into and as the mind, where if we were to stand in absolute equality and oneness with and as the physical body, this physical existence, our existence would be here in equality and oneness, instead of our presence only manifesting within a minute surrounding in our immediate environment. Thus, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that with this aura and presence manifestation, what must be understood is what our and my existence has become is the mind. And thus, everything I experience is what the mind, in fact, experiences. This can be seen within the interaction between two human beings, within the context of attraction in the experience dimension of attraction, where two human beings will within themselves have an experience towards each other, which is currently defined as being attraction and sexual attraction, as the energy experiences within the mind rise, and equally as one affect and influence the physical body sensations of heartbeat and breathing, which has come to be defined within the context of relationships and love. When what this internal initial mind experience within both and either one of the individuals is in fact is the attraction to and towards what it is within themselves that they're experiencing within another, or what it is that they haven't seen, realized, in fact, already exist within themselves. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how this initial mind experience within self towards another manifests when and as the human beings move physically closer together, and their minds start experiencing each other's resonances and auras within the surrounding areas of and as their physical bodies, where their minds become aware of the experience of each other's auras and presence. Now, within the mind consciousness system, manifestation in and as the aura and presence existence, within the very resonance, ripples, and reverberations of the mind within the physical, contain all the information and energies of what the mind consciousness system consists of and as exist. Thus, one can essentially say that the aura and presence manifestation from the mind's perspective is a manifested external database of itself that the minds in the physical use to read each other. Thus, when and as two human beings manifest themselves in close proximity with each other, the two minds in the physical world read each other's existence through experience, which is the movement, resonance, ripples, and reverberations of each other's aura and presence that contain the entire database information and manifestation of and as the mind consciousness system. In this, for example, being A's mind's aura and presence will merge with being B's mind's aura and presence manifestation. And in this merging with each other's aura, presence, external mind database, the ripples and movements and reverberations will manifest from the aura and presence into and as each other's minds, where the very ripples, movements, and reverberations each exist within a unique design so that as they move, ripple, reverberate into and as each other's minds. Being A's mind, for example, will scan and calibrate being B's mind within itself, and in that scanning and calibration, cross-reference whether being B's mind could be used and merged with to expand and evolve its own systems, constructs, programs, and designs. When and as being A's mind assess that being B's mind holds superior systems, programs that being A's mind can use to evolve, expand, and specify its survival with being A's mind will utilize the resonances, ripples, and reverberations it experienced and that moved into and as itself, contain it within itself, and vibrate it at a frequency that will produce a vibration of the entire mind consciousness system that the human being in the physical then experience with physical sensations, heartbeat, short breathing, as a mind and physical excitement that manifests due to the extent of the mind's integration and manifestation into and as the human physical body, that the mind has come to possess and own and manipulate for its own evolution and survival as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to inequality and oneness with and as substance and energy, the physical and the mind, from the beginning to now, seen, realized, and understood how and why. The mind of and as energy evolved from the beginning of our existence as manifested singularities in our relationship as energy to substance, where the relationship forming between two human beings as minds manifested for the interest of survival as evolution of the mind consciousness system, where the very experiences of attraction human beings as minds experience within themselves towards each other is thus not, in fact, an experience towards the human beings as who they are, but their existence as the mind, where the two minds are in experience within themselves for the evolution of their own existence, and thus, in this, control the human being in and as their conscious mind relationship to the physical body, that experience the sensations of attraction as a prospective relationship in sexual interaction, when all the while it is in fact the mind directing the human into and as a particular specific relationship in sex for the benefit of its own survival. In the next post, we'll continue with more detail regarding the evolution of ourselves as manifested singularities into and as the mind's relationship to the physical body regarding the experience of attraction, how and why we never questioned this automatic experience that suddenly and unexpectedly manifest within us without our directive principled decision, but literally, blindly, and ignorantly fell into it, and as with falling in love from attraction, where love has come to be interpreted in the conscious mind according to experience, when it is in fact within the context of the existence of the entire mind consciousness system as ourselves, the survival of and as the mind itself, and had in fact never anything to do with who we are with ourselves and each other as actual beings, but everything to do with the mind ensuring its survival and evolution as energy, all of which contributed throughout time to the consequences of the nature of relationships with ourselves, each other, and humanity as a whole. I commit myself to show how and why the experience of attraction within and as the existence of ourselves as the mind is not, in fact, an attraction to and towards another human being with the entirety of who they are, but what one in fact experiences as attraction is a manipulation of one's mind within and onto the physical body, when and as the mind has assessed that the other human being's mind can be utilized to evolve its own existence for survival, and will so activate the entirety of itself with and as energy and vibration to manipulate the human into submission of energy experience, to initiate the process of relationship to sex, so that within and during sex, the mind can merge with the mind of the other human being, and so successfully manifest the process of the evolution and thus survival of itself. This merging of the minds within and during sex is walked in detail within the What is Sex interview series available on eQuaf. In this, I commit myself to show how and why most relationships within existence do not and cannot stand as the very reason and purpose for relationships in sex from within and as the mind was only for the survival as evolution of the mind, and thus that the mind in fact determines the nature and time of relationships for as long as the mind itself can benefit from the relationship in sex for its continued existence and evolution and survival process. And thus, with relationships being defined and existent within and as energy experience, why and how relationships had not in fact been anything substantial within existence, because they've always only been focused on the energy experiences and possessions of human beings can get and have within themselves from each other. Where relationships had become possessions of experience within and as our existence as the mind, instead of an actual agreement and commitment where individuals in fact grow, develop, expand, and learn from each other into and as aligning themselves and each other to be and become and really contribute to the lives of others and this existence as a whole. I commit myself to show the consequences that has manifested within the existence of relationships for the purposes and evolution of the mind, for ourselves, each other, and humanity as a whole, where we search and seek for relationships based on energy experiences within ourselves, where within this experience definition of relationships within and as energy, as the mind, we as human beings had devolved because we have not, in fact, throughout time, within our relationships, aligned ourselves in such a way so as to really grow, develop, expand, and learn within and as who we are and how we live, but have only aligned ourselves within relationships for the possession of an energy experience. And in that possession, entirely, completely neglected the relationship with ourselves, who we are, our physical bodies, and so within and towards this physical existence as a whole, as we have accepted and allowed ourselves to align our living according to energy, possessions, and experience, and not, in fact, caring, considering, and regarding our relationship with anything and anyone else, let alone ourselves. And thus why and how most of humanity do not, in fact, care, consider, and regard for the global consequences that is existent on this earth, as all that is cared for, considered, and regarded is our own possessions of energy experiences in our own minds. I commit myself to, with writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, establish first an equal and one relationship and agreement with me in equality and oneness, within as my physical body, so that I can develop trust with and as me, when and as and within, making a practical, informed decision within approaching a prospective partner. To so within this, ensure that I am not accepting and allowing myself to be influenced, be controlled, be directed within and as the mind through experience and energy. As I see, realize, and understand that when and as I accept and allow myself to be influenced, controlled, and directed by and through the mind of energy experience, that I am not taking into consideration the actual practical reality, the reality of the human being, because in and as experience, I become possessed within energy. And all I will see is energy. And in this energy possession, I cannot, in fact, make a practical reality informed decision within myself and with another human being as me to really see who I am, who they are, and who we will and may and can be together in a committed relationship and agreement. And if and as I am in a relationship, I commit myself to assist and support me within and as writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application to ensure that within and as my interaction with my partner, I do not accept and allow myself to play the superiority and inferiority games within myself towards them within the nature of relationship dynamics, where the mind simply seeks and searches for energy, but that I always remain stable with breath within speaking and interacting as my process of assisting and supporting me to stop living through energy experience as the mind, but in fact live here with and as me, in and as my physical body, stopping energy games, and really get into learning what it means to live.